I haven't streamed in a bit. I was meaning to, but I got really busy, and I've been trying to focus on trying to sleep early. So, yeah. Okay, good. That better say Higurashi. Wait, what the hell? Okay, yeah. Alright, let's get on Steam. I will not be responding to any comments because I am reading Higurashi. But I will stream Stardew Valley later. I'll end the stream first, but though. Who? Oh my god, who? I don't know who that is, I think. Or I don't remember. That makes me want to get Higurashi, but I need to save money, so I can't. Alright, let's continue. Wait, I don't think we read the tips last night. We didn't do that, so let's do that. Oh my god, I'll have to make tea later. Yeah. Alright, let's continue. From the June 1980 edition. On the afternoon of XX at 2 p.m., office employee XXX and his wife XXX of Hinamizawa Village in Shishibani Prefecture disappeared after falling 27 meters from the observatory platform in Shirakawa Prefecture. Police and firefighters searched downstream and discovered the body of XX around 7 p.m. that evening. His wife, XXX, has yet to be found. The search has run into difficulties due to the effects of Typhoon 3 from the previous day. It appeared at a railing of the observatory that the XX leaned at had been broken, causing him to fall. The groundskeeping staff was questioned by police in regards to facility deterioration, and if the park maintenance was performed properly. Okay. From the June 1981 edition. On the afternoon of XX around 10 p.m. in the X district of Hinamizawa Village in Shishibani Prefecture, the Shinto priest of the Furude Shrine passed away after an existing condition he was recovering from suddenly worsened. Parties close to the deceased said he was suffering from anxiety issues concerning the festival, which was to be held that day. Also, after XXX's death, his wife XXX went missing, leaving behind a farewell note. The police and local youth association continued the search. However, given the presence of a farewell message and the fact that the Onikafuchi marsh is said to be bottomless, they have run into difficulties. It wasn't reported in the newspaper. What? I'm sorry. This is Okinomiya Station calling Unit 3. Unit 3, please respond. This is Unit 3, loud and clear. Backup is heading your way. Hold the position until further instructions. Over. Roger, Unit 3 acknowledged. Requesting no headlights. Requesting radio silence. Station, the doctor has arrived. They want to carry it away. What's the order? Over. Acknowledged. Leave it to the doctor. Affirmative. Understood. Backup has arrived. Should I let them take a photo first? I think the bike is done for. Uh-oh. What happened? Why is there a radio log? Anyway. So, we are going to continue. Good morning! Nice job yesterday, Keiichi! You didn't do so badly yourself, Mion. Yesterday was fun. Oh, that's right, Keiichi! Thank you very much! For Mr. Bear! I'm glad you like it. Don't use it as a pincushion, though. I wouldn't! Still chatting happily, we entered the classroom. But the moment I stepped into the room, a splashing sound and a nasty sensation. It was a bucket filled to the brim with water, and unfortunately, my foot stepped right into it. Mine now! How dare diligent of you to mop the floor this morning. Ah! Keiichi flicked my forehead!
You should set up a more brutal trap next time.
Seeing that, Rena began to swoon as Mion looked on dejectedly. Everything was the same as always. Everybody was there and nothing felt out of place. The uncertainties I had in the back of my mind since yesterday had vanished.
What is it, Keiichi? Didn't get enough sleep, maybe? Maybe?
I slept like a log, but if you want, I'll do a reenactment during class.
You shouldn't do that.
Mio alerted us a teacher was coming, so everyone shuffled off to their seats. Good morning, everyone. So yesterday was a festival. Thank you to all the people who stayed until the very end to help clean up. We were all slackers, so none of us actually helped clean up. Actually, I had the feeling the only thing we did was run around the festival and cause ruckus. Okay then, this time of year you might see some people here on out of the town doing interviews about the festival for magazines. I thought it was the usual stuff, so I was going to tune it out, but then I noticed a different tone in her voice and started paying attention. You may be asked questions. Please don't say anything silly or something that would be taken the wrong way. Do you understand? In unison, everyone replied, Yes, ma'am! What she said was really vague, but I understood what she was trying to say. After all, this was the 5th year. There were probably lots of third-rate reporters pouring in, hoping something regarding the curse had happened. It did nothing but perpetuate the village's bad image. She was saying, don't spout stupid shit you think is funny. And now I was one of the ones who decided to keep their mouths shut. I found it rather cute how I felt a sense of unity from such a trite thing, if I do say so myself. I was summoned to club activities after school. Since everybody was still pretty tired from yesterday, we spent the day relaxing. Yeah, that wasn't happening. Today, let's play a classic game of deduction. How about this one? Oh, a game from overseas? Looks interesting.
The instructions are in English, but the rules don't seem that hard. I won't lose, you hear? I'm not too bad at this game.
It seemed that Rena didn't handle this kind of game very well. The rules are the person who can match the murderer, weapon, and the scene of the crime wins. There are 3 kinds of cards comprised of suspects, weapons, and locations. I could see the names Mion and Rika were written on the suspect cards. Oh, a card with my name on it as well. There are plenty of different weapons too, like knives, axes, and poison. The locations are pretty nice too, like the living room, the study, and the courtyard. Oh, they're playing Clue.
So basically, you take out one of each of the cards. These are the answer cards.
So we shuffle the remaining cards and hand them out. We ask each other about the cards and figure out the right ones. Ah, I see. So the cards nobody has are the true perpetrators.
Then you raise your hand if you know the answer. The game ends if we check the answer is the correct.
If you're right, then you get a point. If you're wrong, then you lose a point. Since the game ends, even if no one gets it right, all the cards are gathered up and redistributed.
You'll learn as you go. You really have to use your brain. You'll get confused if you don't take notes.
The rest of you can figure out by playing. So, Mion, what's the penalty this time? Everyone directed their attention to Mion. Let's see. We're all still a little tired from yesterday, so maybe we'll take it easy with a gopher penalty. You'll be asked to rush out and buy stuff for everyone.
So just being asked to go buy stuff like drinks and candy, I guess. I feel like the penalty today is pretty simple.
I wonder, is it really?
Is Keiichi thinking what I'm thinking?
Yeah. You don't know what you'll have to go buy. I bet Mia will send out someone, whoever loses to buy stuff like hemorrhoid cream or happy family planning manual or other crazy stuff. The cards were lightly shuffled and passed out to each player. The real perpetrator, the correct weapon, and the scene of the murder have been taken out. So that means that all the cards I have in my hand are innocent cards. Then I'll go first since I'm the club president, I guess. Well then, Mion, knife, study. You pick one suspect weapon and the murder scene and ask each person. If you have any of those cards, then you must say, I have one. However, you don't need to say which one you have. Yeah, I got it.
Me too. I have one. Oh my! All of them are here.
3 people answered when she asked if they had Mio, knife, and study. So that means Mio and knife and study are all in the clear. Gotta jot that down.
Then I'll go Rena X Lounge.
Only 2 people said they had one. So it means out of Rena, X, and Lounge. One of them is correct and part of the crime? No, wait. Even if they say they have one, they don't have to say how many. It's possible that either Sadako or Rika has 2 of the cards. Well then, Kei-chan's next. Go ahead. Wait just a little. I'm still sorting things out. The game has me thinking more than I thought. Oh man, this feels like it's gonna be tough. Alright, now I have the criminal. What? Already? Here I am spinning around in circles and Mia just raises her hand. The murderer is Rika. In the infirmary with the poison. Well, Mia drew the cards in the box and we checked to see her deduction was right.
You were right! Ah! All I needed was one more hand! I couldn't tell whether it was poison or a pistol! I never use a pistol. I like killing them slowly with poison.
Rika said with such a hugely terrifying thing with such a sweet little face. Everyone was making a commotion about how they almost had it. Rena and I were left out in the cold, though. Don't worry, Rena. I know when you'll star and debut as an official detective.
How did you do, Keiichi? I couldn't get it at all.
Don't worry. I had no idea either. How can you both be so unsure? You'll both end up in last place together at this rate. It's even worse. Going off to buy something together as a couple. What if we ended up having to buy the happy family planning guide?
I can tell from Keiichi's expression that he's not very good at this game.
What? That's not true. I'll show you the true power of Sherlock Mybar during the next round. Well, Keiichi, considering how many chapters of Higurashi there are, I would have to agree with Rika. And considering how long Rika's been going... Wait. What? No, never mind. Nothing. Shh, dismiss that.
My, that sounds wonderful! I shall give you quite the thrashing.
After that, I managed to somewhat grasp the trick behind the game, but I was still always a step or 2 behind. I saw that Mia was somehow gleaning information from how the others were asking their questions. That level of experience was just too much. The only way I could stage a comeback was if I became ruthless. I tossed out the simple concept of deduction and switched over to the thought process needed to win. The important thing isn't finding out the criminal, it's to win at the game. Eureka! Sorry, need to go to the bathroom. Take your time and squeeze out a nice one. Ew.
Mii-chan, that's gross.
I had them hold off the game and headed down the hall. The air was crisp. It just showed how stagnant the air in the classroom was from our body heat. On the school grounds, some of our classmates were still playing around. After spending some time cleaning my head, Rena had made her way towards me.
Keiichi, did you call for me?
Yeah, I did. As I got up from my seat, I winked over at Rena. I'm glad it worked out. I don't want to waste much time, so I'll get right to the point, Rena. What's your record at the game we're playing today? She was taken aback. After a moment, she hesitantly opened her mouth.
Well, all losses. Why do you ask? I wonder.
I could tell from how apprehensively she was playing. The way things are going, I will as well. I can't figure out a way to pull out a last-minute comeback on this one.
So, I guess both of us will be taking that penalty?
Hey, don't accept defeat already. How about we win this? Both of us.
But, how can we?
I brought my lips to Rena's ear. Whisper.
Is that allowed?
Did you forget, Rena? The second rule of our society. Do everything you're power to obtain victory!
Yeah, I'll try my best.
Just like that other one. Our plan of attack was quite a rudimentary one. At the beginning of the game, everyone would be focused on their own hand for a while, taking notes and whatnot. Since our seats were right next to each other, we would reveal our hands to each other. If we did it under the desk, then nobody would know. We begin the game with twice as much information as everyone else. Having this much information would mean we need to investigate less.
With this sort of plan of attack, we'll start with a big lead over the other guys.
Yeah, with this we can probably win. We both smirked at each other. I was a shady businessman, then Rena was a corrupt senator. Pleasure doing business with you. Let's hurry back. We'll work as a duo to surprise everyone.
Hey now, there's no point if we go back together. It'd be flat out telling them we made a little arrangement. Oh, sorry, then what should we do?
Go back ahead of me, Rena. I'll take my time coming back after washing my face or something.
Okay, I got it.
Rena turned around and headed back to the classroom. I guess I should wait a bit longer before going back. If I went too soon, it would seem like I went to the bathroom. If Mion or one of them suspected something, then there would be problems. Well, they'll figure out sooner or later because both Rena and I would start winning over and over again. Well, for Rena, I haven't earned enough points to avoid being losers by the time Mion realized what was happening. Excellent. Not bad at all. Maibara, may I have a moment? Huh? It's the teacher. Man, things were just getting good. What is it? I'm a bit...
You have a guest. Please make your way to the entrance.
A guest? It's not like I own a hotel.
They've been waiting. Please hurry.
It was rather unfortunate that I had someone waiting on me right before my next big match, but I was more interested in the unexpected guest. I didn't want to waste any time, so I decided to take care of it quickly. The entryway was a heavy contrast from the hot sunlight and deep shadows. Waiting there, looking uncomfortably warm, was a middle-aged man, his tie sloppily loosened and his jacket tucked under his arm. Are you Maibara? Maibara Keiichi? There was no question that he wasn't a resident of Hinamizawa, and that this was without a doubt the first time he had met me. Ever since I met Tomitake, I've been running into so many middle-aged men. That's right. Who might you be? I have the AC in my car. Let's talk there. It's a bit hot here, don't you think? The man, completely ignoring my question, pointed it over to the car parked near the gate and began walking. You've got to be kidding me. I had no intention of going along with some geezer I didn't even know. He was asking me to get in his car with him? I'm not going to bite. Come on. Wait, I'm not going to bite. Come on now. He opened the back door of his car and called me over. I didn't like this old man, but I wanted to know what this was about, even while knowing that the conversation that starts out like this never leads to anything good. The inside of his car was pretty cool. Cars with air conditioners were supposed to be a luxury. My dad didn't have one in his car, at least. Please let me know if it's too cold for you, okay? I've had a cricket all the way up. So, what business do you have with me? Out of spite, I decided to ignore his remark in the same way he did to me and start my own line of questioning. He pulled out a notepad from his pocket and took out a picture that was stuck between the pages. It was on the face of a pretty goofy-looking guy. If you know anything related to this individual, then please tell me. What the heck is this? I doubted even his close friends would be able to recognize who he was from this expressionless picture that looked like it was taken at the DMV. There were scribbles on his shirt done in permanent marker, starting with yours, Maibara, and quite a few of your classmates signed as well. Huh? This is Tomitake? There was no hint of his usual unreliable and easygoing personality in this photo. It was an expressionless, half-asleep face. Then, do you know this woman? Even before seeing it, I had a good idea of who it was. I don't remember her name, but she's some lady who was with Tomitake last night. I didn't know what her name was, but I did know she was a resident of Hinamizawa. When was the last time you saw these two? Oops, my bad. The night of Watanagashi. We spoke. They seem pretty close, I guess. Did anything bother you about them? Anything is fine. Go ahead and say it. Being asked for every little detail is very troubling, honestly. I had a pretty good idea of who this guy was by now. Did something happen to them? There was no response to my inquiry. Thus I replied to that silence in kind. I was pretty sure, no, certain, that this guy was a cop. And why? Why was he asking about Tomitake? Did something happen to him? More importantly, why me? Shouldn't there have been plenty of other people who knew more about him than I did? The roar of the air conditioner felt unbearably loud. After a long pause, he finally spoke again. You moved here just recently. Isn't that right, my bride? Are you aware, I wonder, about the stories of Oyashiro? My heart began to race. I'm pretty terrible at hiding things. It probably showed on my face. Not at all? If you don't, then that's fine. Well, I have heard of it. Tomitake told me, actually. How much do you know about it? Dismemberment killing. The accidental death. The death by illness followed by... And the lady who was beaten to death. The incidents that always happen the day of Watanagashi, ending in suspicious deaths. I didn't think Tomitake would have kept anything from me. I think that was everything. No. Rather, I didn't want to think there was anything more than that. Do you know of that? Wait. You know of that? Well, curse, Maibara. Feel free to speak openly about it. I don't believe in it. My answer was instant. It wasn't so much that I didn't believe in it as I was on the verge of believing. I wanted to clear away my own doubts. But this is more prominent feeling. Really? Then that's great. Guess you really are one of those city-raised boys. So what if I don't believe? I have friends waiting, so could you get to the point? The man in this picture is dead. Uh-oh. My mind went blank. Huh? What happened? Tomitake. It was seen that he died last night. That was the night of the Watanagashi. Do you understand the implications behind that, Maibara? Implications? Not any for the cause of his death or the reasons behind it. The real problem was that he died on the day of the Watanagashi. Meaning, this year the curse of Oyashiro had once again... The death of Tomitake Jiro is still confidential. You can understand why that is, right? I didn't want to understand why. Please tell me. Tell me what happened. Oops. It was rather peculiar. Oops. Sorry, let me try that again. Please tell me. Tell me what happened. It was rather peculiar. It might be a little too graphic for someone born and raised in Hinamizawa. It was a roundabout way of saying it. It caused me to doubt whether or not I wanted to hear the rest. I would only regret forcing myself to learning of something I shouldn't. Or at least, that's how I figured how I would feel if I listened to the rest. One of our patrol cars discovered the body on the way of the security detail of the festival. It was late, about 5 till midnight. The location was, you know where the road into town becomes paved, right? Down past the slope on the shoulder around here. There were a few streetlights on that road. Its pitch-black darkness was only broken by lights of passing cars and the moon. It was a stroke of luck that Tomitake was spotted, collapsed on the shoulder of the road. Tomitake was face down, covered in blood. Blood and muck covered the asphalt. We thought it was a hit and run at first. When the officer checked to see if he was still alive, he quickly noticed something abnormal. His throat had been ripped open. From a knife or something? No. Nails. Nails? As in fingernails? With those he clawed through? In the coroner's report, it was revealed that it was with his own fingernails. Huh? What does that mean? Basically, it means it wasn't a murder. It was... Tomitake thought there was a reason to tear open his own throat, as hard as he could with his own nails, tore through the skin until he started to bleed. Even then, Tomitake didn't stop. He continued clawing with enough intensity that I would have peeled off his nails, still clawing, still clawing. Then, as his nails reached those vital arteries that you should never damage, he continued clawing. Blood splattered on the ground around him. As he bled, while gasping for breath, he collapsed, his body spasmed, and he died in agony. We thought drugs were to blame, but nothing of that nature was detected. But it was a... Never heard of such a thing. It's a natural way of dying. If this wasn't a mysterious death, then what was? The way he died. These 5 years, his death most resembled that of a curse. As to show both myself and Tomitake, who proclaimed there was no such thing as a curse, that we were both wrong. There were a few more suspicious details from his body chemistry, respiration, palpation, and so on. We concluded that he was in a state of hysteria right before his death. It was a given. It's hard to believe someone would be in a sound state of mind while clawing out their throat. Wounds on his hands matched a discarded piece of lumber found nearby. There were traces of where he struck trees and the guardrails within. Tomitake's blood was found all over the place, meaning, tearing at his own throat. He was swinging around a piece of lumber. There were external injuries, which were not self-inflicted, discovered on Tomitake. There's a high probability Tomitake was assaulted. The external injuries suggest there may be multiple suspects. To summarize, Tomitake was surrounded and attacked. While wandering the nights in the road in a state of panic, after being cornered, he picked up a piece of lumber and tried to fight back. Somewhere in there, he began madly tearing at his own throat, clawing at it. Then, he died. The presumed time of death was around 9:23 p.m., meaning it occurred right after you finished talking to Tomitake at the festival. Everybody signed Tomitake's shirt, parted ways, right after that. Yeah, he should have been with a woman. What about her? She's missing. She hasn't shown up to work and she hasn't returned home either. There's a very high probability that she was involved in this incident. For a while, I could only gaze off into space. I never would have thought that something unfortunate happening to somebody close to me would affect me this deeply. The time I had spent with Tomitake was short. We went to the same festival, spent time together, and took part in the same competition. He was one of us. We've been continuing the investigation on various fronts. When it comes to Oyashiro's curse, the villagers here aren't very cooperative. That I knew well. I would have been none the wiser if not for Tomitake, the outsider, telling me. So that's why you came to me? Because I'm not originally from Hinamizawa? I should have been angry that was the reason he wanted to hear what had happened from me. If things go the way they have been, the conclusion would be that Tomitake Jiro died from Oyashiro's curse. He turned away from me and gazed far off into the distance. The night of the Watanagashi, during that sacred ritual, he callously snapped off photos, angering Oyashiro. That's how it's going to turn out. There's no way that Oyashiro would inflict divine punishment on Tomitake! Tomitake could have been killed by humans in a cowardly group, no less. There's no way I'm gonna let this end up being the fault of some curse! I think so as well. There's no such thing as divine punishment or curses. Tense mood was cut with the man's hearty laugh. That's how this must be, Maibara. Cooperation from individuals in Hinamizawa who don't believe in the curse is indispensable. Understand? Neither Tomitake nor I believed in curses. With the way things were going, it would have just ended up with Tomitake's death marking the 5th year. Which means that Hinamizawa had rejected Tomitake. That was something I couldn't allow. Tomitake was one of us. He didn't live in Hinamizawa, but he came every single year. In a sense, he was more of a resident than I was. There was no way that Tomitake could have been cursed by Oyashiro. But there's nothing I can do to help. I have no idea what happened that night either. No, if you see or hear something that draws your attention, then that's enough. If I see or hear? He was talking in the future tense. Things or people or rumors. Anything is fine. I don't care if they're unfounded. Here. This is my number. If I'm not there, then just leave a message with whoever picks it up. He handed me a piece of paper with his number on it. But I hesitated for a second. If I took it, whether I wanted to or not, be mired knee-deep in this matter. Please help me solve these questions surrounding Tomitake's unfortunate death. That's right. Why was I hesitating? I needed to find the murderer who killed my friend. I snatched up the piece of paper as a satisfied grin spread across his face. Everything we spoke of today is a secret. Please keep this confidential. Understood. From your friends as well, especially from Sonozaki and Furude. Please do not inform them. Sonozaki? You mean Mion? Why? Are you saying they have something to do with the incident? With my friend's names brought up so abruptly, and being told to keep it secret from them, I became rather angry. This is what they call investigative privilege, I suppose. Don't play games with me! Mion's a close friend of mine! I snapped at him, but he didn't seem to especially be offended. I wouldn't mind telling you, but it may just upset you. Say it! He hesitated a little. Turning his gaze to the outside of the car, he began to speak after thinking for a bit. There's a possibility that the string of incidents happening here in Hinamizawa are a result of the village conspiracy. There's no way that could be right! Give me a break! First of all, is there any proof of that? No evidence. Also, each of the cases were resolved. None of the perpetrators had any direct connection to the village. Then, how did you come to that conclusion? Every year, the enemy of the village died on the day of the Watanagashi. Don't you think that's enough reason to suspect something? Only the residents of Hinamizawa felt that the day of the Watanagashi was sacred. So basically, because incidents happened on that day, it was somehow related to Hinamizawa. First, it was a dam construction foreman. Then it was a villager that supported it. There was a village that held a grudge against one after another died from mysterious causes. The means are different, but in the end the result is the same. Unfounded, unreasonable suspicion. But couldn't just be shrugged off. So, the victims after that, what about the Shinto priest and his wife's death? They weren't enemies of the village. The villagers had expected leadership from the Shinto priest at the time of the dam dispute. But he wasn't proactive, so there was a faction of villagers who harbored ill will towards him as a result. Ill will? It's not like he did anything bad to the village. What about the housewife after that? Did she die just because she was the wife of her brother or supporter? That's such a trivial reason to kill someone. And what about Tomitake? He's not affiliated with the dam project at all. Was he just killed just because he was an outsider? In the beginning, it fell on those related to the dam project. But as years went on, the enemy threshold of the victims had become much lower. Well, that's the scary part. The bar keeps getting lower. What's scary about that? It means it's not just enemies of the village anymore. Just being an outsider is reason enough. Then, next year's victim, you're just gonna be picked out of the village outsider pool? It might be a person that just moved here. What do you mean by... I swallowed my words. Here in Hinamizawa, the ones who would be considered the most outside would be my family. I was proof enough of that, wasn't I? I still couldn't really remember the names of the people I passed by. Then, the next victims, my family. Was he saying it was going to be me? But what does that have to do with Mion? I can't go into details, but the Sonozaki family led the dam protests. Quite vehemently so. This is also true of Mion Sonozaki herself. She did quite a few misdemeanor and obstruction of public worker offenses on her record because of the protests. I knew Mion knew what it meant to fight. This is the first I've heard of her family leading the protests, though. Then, well, what did it all mean? Are you saying that Mion's family is involved with a string of incidents? I wouldn't go that far. I'm just saying that if it was a conspiracy, then they'd have the highest probability of being behind it. Not a very clear explanation. It felt like he magnificently avoided the details I really wanted to know. We don't know who or how involved anyone is right now. That's exactly why I don't want you to say anything to the villagers. Instead of answering, I gave a very bitter expression. It seemed that he understood it well enough. Then think of it like this. I don't want to worry the villagers who blindly believe it's the curse. How about that? What do you mean, how about that? How should I know? But the reasoning behind wanting me to not carelessly open my mouth about it wasn't too hard to comprehend. The perpetrator was here. He had nothing to do with the curse. He was definitely going to be caught by the police and made to pay for his crimes. And none of the villagers should have anything to do with that process. It may cause those sensitive about the curse just to worry needlessly. Just like everyone kept it from me so I wouldn't worry about it. Is it now my turn to keep it from them so they shouldn't have to worry? I was just talking to myself. Unlike me, everyone else had been worrying over these mysterious incidents yearly, and the incident this time probably means a lot more to them. I didn't want to burn them anymore. In the end, everything went as the man I wanted, as insipid as it was, but it couldn't be helped. I understand. I'll keep it to myself. Is that fine? Mr. Ooishi from the Okinomiya police station. You can call me Kura if you want. No. Ooishi is fine. The way he said it was unpleasant, yet retained hints of politeness. He was the spitting image of a vulgar police officer. Though I have never seen one this bulky before in the cop shows I watch. I've taken up too much time. Your friends are waiting, aren't they? I should probably let you get back to them. The door opened with a click and streamed the oppressive heat. It was blistering outside the car. Was it really this hot of a day? It was almost cruel heat, as opposed to the mechanical coolness inside the car. It was as if Land of Hinamizawa itself suddenly hated me. I felt a little sad as that thought crossed my mind. I didn't mean to suspect your friends. Please don't misunderstand that. I refrained from telling him that it was too late to say something that's self-serving. It's fine if you don't see or hear anything, Maibara. There is enough proof that the village is not involved. I'll contact you if I hear or see anything, but I'm no detective. Please don't expect too much from me. I won't. You don't have it to become a detective. Just go on living as you have until now. Just let me know if you notice anything. I hastily made my way back to the school building after giving him a quick bow. See you later. Farewell, Maibara. I returned to the school building without looking back. I don't know how much time had passed. I did feel bad for keeping them waiting, but right now there was a lot on my mind. Tomitake's death was hard enough as it was. The thing that there was a possibility of a village conspiracy. Worse still, there was also a chance that Mio was involved. Nonsense. Possible. Not Mio, Rena, Sadako, or Rika. It was a group that attacked Tomitake. Who could the perpetrators be? Could it be they were hiding here somewhere in Hinamizawa? I didn't know. All I could say for certain was that I knew that Mio couldn't be the perpetrator.
It's Me-chan, the perpetrator.
Huh? I was startled to hear Rena's voice.
With the rope in the lounge.
Nope.
No!
Rena clutched her head while flailing about. It looks like you're just self-destructing over here. Wow.
Keiichi, you're quite late. As you may well know, I'm seething with anger.
Sorry about that. I was called to the staff room, you see.
You were reprimanded for bad behavior? That's a shame.
Well, it's pretty heated over here. Since it's getting pretty late, let's make the next game the last one. If I remember right, I had 0 points. Isn't it pretty much decided that I'm going to be finishing in the last place?
Don't worry, Keiichi. I'm at -1 points. Oh.
The heck? Your score is lower than mine. I wasn't even playing. This is the final match to decide the penalty is going to be carried out by Rena alone or both Kei-chan and Rena. Yeah, right. Just let Rena do the penalty by herself.
We made a promise, Keiichi, that we would both win. I waited all this time, you know?
I'm sorry about that. I followed my initial plan of showing Rena my cards, but I didn't say who was the criminal and just waited for her to call.
I got it! The murderer is me! The poison at the entrance! Is it?
My, Rena. Quite a quick answer. Another stab in the dark? Oh.
Rena's correct. Then it's decided that Keiichi shall take part in the penalty as well! Hooray!
have no choice. Then that's game. It's me, Sonozaki Mio, ranked first. In dead last are Maibara Keiichi and Ryugu Rena. Everybody applauded. The game ended. The problem now was the penalty. Now then, I rank first, so I decide what you'll be buying for the golfer penalty.
What will she make us buy, I wonder?
Let's blacklist the drugstore. That was your aim, wasn't it? Huh? I don't have any business at the drugstore. This old man's already got a list prepared for you on this piece of paper.
There's a lot written here.
A lot? Damn it, what is she making us buy? 2 blocks of tofu, shampoo and conditioner, apple vinegar and fried tofu. The heck is this?
It looks more like a shopping list than a penalty. Me was certain she was going to win today.
Rule 7 of our society. You cannot refuse any penalty. Here's some money, and the shampoo I usually get is Fruit Fable. Thanks. This is just your grocery list! I promised myself that one next time I'd make her go buy hemorrhoid cream. Well, you received new tips. There are more than 4 perpetrators. Search notice. Alright, let's view the new... let's save first before we continue. And let's close that and view the new tips. Okay. I'm not gonna do... I think it's written by Ooishi, so I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna read it in my regular voice, I think. Hypovolemic shock induced by clawing out their own throat. Tissues packed under the nails, not someone else's nails. It's undoubtedly by the individual's own nails. The shape of the scar also matches. Yeah, I know the immediate cause of death was... I get it. You're saying the cause of death is unnatural, right? Oops. It's kind of like when your back itches and you scratch a little too hard and draw blood. Someone told me Taki's fingernails had been pulled out. It's actually quite simple to pull out one's own nails, but it really hurts. Under normal circumstances, the pain would prevent you from completely pulling them out. Also, there were a lot of bruises in Tomitake's body. It's clear from the shape of them that he was assaulted first by someone or a group of people. According to the toxology report, the deceased was in a rather extreme state of hysteria right before death. Then he fought back and clawed out his own throat because of how hysterical he had become. The guys attacking him certainly would have been surprised by that. It's possible that in such an abnormal environment, a person could perform acts that a sane individual couldn't possibly imagine. Of course, those are very rare cases. Actually, Ooishi, that wood plank the deceased used as a weapon. They only found sand and paint and the guardrail on it. What about cloth fibers or skin? Nothing. The deceased didn't strike the assailants. Or it could be they took the plank he was fighting back with. In that case, they wouldn't have gone out of their way to replace it with another. They'd take them all. That's true. Tomitake's pretty built and tan. He was quite athletic. That's right. He is. Well, I can scroll? I can't imagine what kind of sports he did when he was alive, but I think his physical strength would be on the higher side, meaning he would be difficult to overpower in a brawl. And a man with such physique sensed he was in danger and swung the plank around quickly. It's unthinkable that it wouldn't even nick the perpetrator. And his opponent was armed. He's got a wooden plank, so you think he'd hit him at least once. To surround and take down someone of his physique, I wonder how many people it would take. You dimwit! You should know better than anyone. Have you forgotten your bad cop days? If I was to take down this guy, how many would I need? If a group wants to take down big prey, it's fundamental to attack with numbers. I guess about 4. If there was a gap in their strength, they'd manage. And there are quite a few perpetrators. So any drunk disorderly groups of more than 4 are suspicious. Okay. Quite athletic. He was pretty active, okay. A group of 4 or more. Just, if they had that many, then couldn't they have hidden the body in a less obvious location? Or did he somehow break away from that fatal predicament? There would be no reason to commit. Moreover, I still can't comprehend the irregular way he died. It's full of mysteries. That's under serious consideration on my end, too. I'll be examining this as thoroughly as possible, but don't get your hopes up. After all, we never encountered a death like this before. I'm not hoping for much, but I am looking forward to the results. Ooishi! The chief is calling you! Thanks, see you around. Yeah, best wishes. Tomitake Jiro, deceased. Resided in a cheap hotel in Shishibane City. Registered under the name Tomitake Jiro. Pen name? Travels via folding bike. No license. Bicycle was found 300 miles away, abandoned at the side of a forest path. Present on the day of the festival. Accompanied by the missing Takanomiya. Was seen around 9 p.m. by police. Location afterwards unknown. Held residence in Hinamizawa for 1 week each season for the last 5 to 6 years. Freelance photographer specializing in wild birds. Check the magazine companies. Nothing suspicious in the film located among the articles of the deceased. Wallet was among the articles of the deceased. Near act of violence. From the contents of this wallet, he spent most of his time around Tokyo and Chiba, along with Sobu National Rail Line. No individual matching the name Tomitake Jiro in residency records of any of Tokyo wards. Compare teeth to dental records. Send to Metro Police. Attach a photo. Send to Metro Police. Contacting magazines regarding Tomitake Jiro. Takanomiya, missing. Nurse at the Irie Clinic. Became close to Tomitake through her passion for wild bird photography. Resides in Okinomiya X District XXX single. Witness accompanied Tomitake on the festival grounds, currently missing. Abducted? Or maybe a suspect. An important person of interest. Had no motive to kill the deceased. Squabble from jealousy? Needed to thoroughly investigate their relationship. Place of work, etc. Need to get information from the police on the scene again. I want some cream puffs. 4 jumbo ones. Oishi. Yeah, see, I'm not gonna do that. It's just notes, so, yeah. So, let's continue reading. I'm gonna stop at a certain point. Sleepy.
That was a really big yawn, Keiichi.
I'm usually awake once it's time to eat, but it doesn't look like I can do it today. I was watching TV until late last night. I'm so tired right now. Was it one of those raunchy TV shows you love so much on last night?
How extremely vile!
Don't jump to conclusions!
It's perfectly normal for boys. Nothing to be ashamed about.
Rika not patting my head only made me feel worse. Could you just let me pass out this lunch break? No, seriously.
My, you think I would sit there and just allow that?
I'll get really angry if you disturb me. Really angry. This was just dreadful. Just so sleepy. I slumped my head on the desk and drifted off into an afternoon nap. It seemed that Sadako had responded, but I pretended not to hear.
Cut it out, Sadako. Keiichi fell asleep. His sleeping face, so cute.
You can take him home later. Let him be for now. Let's move over there. It'd be rude to Keiichi if we bothered him now. Rika really is a good girl. Let's not wake him up even if the teacher comes back. I take that back. The excuse I didn't sleep much last night because I was watching TV was a lie. I was bed at the usual time, but because of the conversation with Ooishi that afternoon, I didn't get much sleep. Spending the day like this, it's almost as if the incident with Tomitake didn't happen after all. It made me think, was Ooishi just trying to deceive me? But it's probably the truth. One thing was certain, I couldn't speak to anyone about it. He wanted my assistance, but I didn't really know anything about it. If I knew I wasn't going to be of any help, I probably wouldn't have listened in the first place. It ended up with me again, regrettably learning something I didn't need to know. If I had never learned about it, I would, without a doubt, be goofing off with the rest of them right now. I couldn't help but resent Ooishi for this. Huh? What was that? I heard he wasn't there the next day. It appears he vanished the night of the Watanagashi. Mio whispered to keep the others from listening, but I could hear it clearly. On the other hand, Rena's voice was even harder to pick up. I could still tell she was quite upset. Couldn't be. They're talking about Tomitake? Only Take? Not sure. That's all I know. I would have to feign ignorance about this topic because I need to keep it a secret. Rather than waking up and being forced to lie to join the conversation, it was much easier to just sit here and pretend I was asleep to listen in on the discussion. Wait, why did I have to pretend to be asleep while eavesdropping on my friend's conversation? The guilt stung.
So, and me, there are others, right? Too.
But they don't know if it's from the curse or if this was an onikakushi. Onikakushi? Onikakushi? To be hidden away by a demon. What a mysterious phrase. I did, however, get a feeling it meant nothing good.
Yeah, there was another, right? Right?
If it was Oyashiro, yeah.
But, this year, at all?
Grandma and the mayor had talked about it. It seems they talked to the police about it beforehand. They said to take care of whatever happens this year without causing a commotion.
Then, without us knowing it, someone had already... You mean...
Maybe.
Next could... me... I wonder...
Don't worry. You got home safely.
But is not allowed, right?
That was a long time ago. Let's stop talking about this. Amidst the uncomfortable mood, both of them went silent. The entirety of the conversation was a bit unclear, but a few cards got my attention. First of all, the term onikakushi, to be demoned away. But the context it was used in, I guess it would be similar to being spirited away. I suspected that it was what it meant because Tomitake and the woman, it really bugged me that I didn't know her name, vanished after the Watanagashi. The next thing that struck out when Rena said, there's another one, right? Mion also said if it's Oyashiro's, yeah, responded to something. Oyashiro's curse, then there had to be two victims. Is that what she meant? Come to think of it, I remember Mion saying at the beginning that they didn't know if it was from the curse or if it was a case of Onikakushi. It seemed that the curse and being demoned away were two different things. They were phenomena that were paired together. I recalled Tomitake's terrible end. It wasn't something as elegant as disappearing. That horrendous end would best be described as curse. Then the woman with him, it means she vanished because she was demoned away? What I know is there's normally an even number of victims with a curse proper. And that last point that bothered me was Rena. Rena was frightened. For what reason I didn't know. However, she knew something that had made her a potential target for Oyashiro's curse. If I recall correctly, Oyashiro should be the guardian deity of Hinamizawa. Isn't the guardian deity supposed to defend citizens and drive out invaders? If I recall correctly, yesterday Ooishi said that originally the targets were enemies of the village, but recently there were no longer any distinctions between them or regular outsiders. Well, if that was the case, then I would think that I'd be more likely to be the target having moved here more recently than Rena. From her composure, I would infer that she was grimly certain that she would be next. I should probably relay what I just heard to Ooishi, informing the police of what I heard by eavesdropping on my friends while pretending to be asleep. It made me feel terrible. It raised a few questions and left me with a bad taste in my mouth. It would be better not to seek the answers to those questions. As I continued to learn more and more, I felt like I had fallen past the point of no return. I would definitely regret this one day. I would definitely regret ever having learned of these events. The teacher approaches! Keiichi! You must awaken! In the distance I could hear the ring of the handbell, signaling the start of afternoon classes. I couldn't sleep at all. I hastily opened my eyes and raised my head up. It was in that moment I leaned my head against the back of my seat. Ugh! There was a thumbtack stuck on the back of my chair with a tape. Circumstantial evidence was enough. Sadako! Guiltily without trial. Capital punishment! I furiously jumped from my seat, and I tripped as if my feet were tangled up. My shoelaces had been tied together! Not bad, Sadako! I was sleeping. You were able to conceal your presence and pull off this fine piece of work. The teacher came and ran us about. I was pulled my shoes off and tackled Sadako.
Did you not notice our teacher has arrived, Keiichi? Take your seat.
Not caring one bit, I made her eat a flick to the forehead.
Keiichi's being mean!
Hey, don't pick on younger kids, Maibara. Apologize to her. I saw Sadako stick her tongue at me. That little brat! Come on, Maibara. Yeah, I'll apologize. Sorry, Sadako. In any case, I apologize, even if it was a completely insincere tone of voice. Damn her, I'll remember this! Kei-chan, get your revenge at the club meeting. Take your seat. I sat down after Mia told me to. She switched to class representative mode. With the boring classes finished, school was finally over for the day. Now then, what should we do for club today? Personally, I'd like to play that deduction game one more time. I was hardly able to play it last time because of Ooishi. Ren and I weren't even able to test out our strategy.
That's right! Today Keiichi and I will be victorious! What should we do? We've never played the same game 2 days in a row before. Why not try asking me?
Mia looked over at her shoulders as we made eye contact. She slowly tapped her palm with her fist as her face suddenly lit up. Oops! I completely forgot I need to go help my uncle today. Sorry guys, not today. Helping your uncle? Aren't you a little goody two-shoes? Sorry, really. I really did forget. Well then, sorry guys. This old man's heading back home now. Mia left it with that and rushed off to the exit after snatching up her bag.
You see, Mi-chan, she sometimes goes to help out at her uncle's shop in town.
Ah, I thought she wasn't the type to get caught up in such bothersome stuff.
She says she gets paid for it. It's quite a bit of spending money from what I hear.
I see. She was able to pay for that amount of games with what she saved up from there. But that, wouldn't you call that a part-time job? Isn't that against school policy?
There's a clause that states family businesses are excluded.
Is that what she's calling it? So what now? Pass on the club today?
So we're done today, I guess?
Won't it be fine even without the club president? Let's do this! I opened up the club locker and began searching for the deduction game from the ever-growing pile of games. Ah, here it is! The deduction game from yesterday! Man, I had to stop just as I was getting the hang of it. At the very least, I wanted to repay Sadako for what she did during the afternoon break.
I do not mind, but is that fine for Rena and Rika? If Keiichi wants to so badly, I wouldn't mind playing for a bit. I think it's better if we do it when we have everyone together.
When she says it like that.
I wanted to go shopping if there wasn't a club meeting today. Going to buy soy sauce and other things. Oh, that's right! I completely forgot! Well, I guess since it's been a while, I should go treasure hunting.
What's this now? Everybody was no longer in the mood for club activities. But I kept on trying to push them out, or it may make them realize I had a trick up my sleeve. Ah, well, I'll give up this time. Man, I was really looking forward to playing it. I shuffled through the cards as if I was still caught up on it.
And the next opportunity, I shall give you a second thrashing.
The murderer is Sadako. The murder weapon is the pistol. It was you after all.
What did you say?
Then I'll just... Sadako looked through the cards on the desk and stuck out 3 of them at me. Oh.
The murderer is Keiichi in the lounge of the rope.
I don't need no rope. I'll just strangle you like this.
No! Keiichi's such a beast!
Whew. Well, I guess it's good that I got out of my system.
I'll remember this game! She was used as a plaything for quite a while. How unfortunate. Cute, cute!
Everyone got ready to go back home. I also helped gather up the scattered cards. I suddenly paused. They were just the suspect cards, but I noticed something strange. Rena, Sadako, Rika, Keiichi, Mio, Satoshi. Satoshi? Not all the cards were made by us, or at least every card besides this one had the name of a club member. Does that mean that this Satoshi fellow is a member? Was there someone in class named Satoshi? I couldn't find anyone named Satoshi on the class roster stuck up on the wall.
Keiichi, let's hurry up and finish cleaning.
Being rushed by Rena, I finished up quickly. Sadako and Rika had already headed merrily for their lockers, so we were the only ones left in the classroom. Right now, Rena had already gotten her bag and was ready to leave. Rena, there must be quite a few people who transferred from this school, right? I tried asking Rena in a bit of a roundabout way. Rena made a troubled face and then answered.
Yeah, Hinamizawa is a rural town, right? Some people transfer out every now and then.
Then is Satoshi one of those transferees?
Sorry, I don't really know.
There was a bit of a pause, but the answer was pretty much immediate.
I'm not saying it to be mean. Just last year, I transferred in, so maybe I just missed him. So I didn't hear much about him. Sorry.
I'm not sure, sorry. Her answer was a lot like when she refused to tell me about the murder of the dam. I was saddened by her denial and felt a little bit of anger. I'm their friend, aren't I? Friends don't keep secrets from their friends, do they? Though I do appreciate they kept that unsettling curse thing from me. But if everyone is worried about it, I'd rather be worried with them. That's what it means to be friends, right? For a moment, I wondered just what kind of face I was making just then, with these mixed feelings of sadness and annoyance.
Keiichi, you're making a scary face. Why is it? Why?
It was probably exactly the kind of face Rena said it was. It appeared my grim expression had frightened her. Sorry. I was really looking forward to the club today. I'm just feeling down about it. I rustled Rena's hair. Let's go home. Dragging that awkward mood with us, we headed home. I wonder why. Why I've been getting this dumb feeling lately. I didn't know anything. I had nothing to worry about. I was just enjoying my everyday life. My long outstretched shadow gave no answer to my naive inquiry.
Keiichi, are you tired maybe? Maybe?
Rena timidly questioned the reason behind my mood. I'm sure my expression made this situation even more unsettling. You think so?
Yeah, you seem to have been a little bit out of it ever since this morning. Maybe a cold?
Physically, I was pretty sure I was in perfect health. It may not seem like it, but I've had perfect attendance since elementary school. Rena continued on since I didn't give her an answer.
It could be that fatigue from moving has finally caught up to you. It's completely different from where you used to live after all. Of course you've gotten tired, since there's so much you need to get used to and remember.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah, it has to be. Rena was also like that at first too. I can tell, you know? You know?
I wonder if Rena also experienced a slight bit of alienation last year that I was feeling right now. Thinking so, I felt that she was the only one who could understand how I felt. I'd like to hear about when you first came to Hinamizawa. How was it? Feeling I had drawn into the conversation, her face suddenly brightened.
It was the same as Keiichi. I didn't know the villagers' names at all. Michan and the rest were all very kind, so I wasn't lonely, but I did still feel a bit out of place.
Rena told me all the details of when she had moved here. All of her first acquaintances and surprises, worries and good times. So, Sadako got you too?
Yeah, there was a thumbtack put on my chair. And with that, that really takes me back.
And when you were invited into the club, the first day?
Nah, there wasn't a club at the beginning. It was formed partway through. One day she had said that we should stay after and hold a big game tournament.
Come to think of it, Mia did say she was the first club president. Now I get it.
This is a secret, but Mii-chan used to be really bad at the beginning. She'd never win.
Huh? Mion, really? I can't even imagine that.
She had to do most of the penalties that she came up with. Seriously, don't tell.
I can't believe Mion was like that. So she gradually transformed into a monster who uses any means necessary to win during that time? It was at her best when she's fighting dirty.
I began making more friends besides Mii-chan after that. But yeah, it might have only been since you moved here that I finally felt like I had gotten used to it here.
I guess Rena had also been left in the dark about Oyashiro when she had just moved here. I guess when they finally told me about Oyashiro, I'd be considered one of them. I wonder when I'll finally be considered one of them.
Huh? Did you say something?
No, sorry. Just talking to myself.
Keiichi, you're silly.
Rena was poking fun and laughing at me. I couldn't help but laugh as well, but I suddenly stopped. Then, after making my mind, I spoke. Hey, Rena, is there something that everybody's keeping from me?
Huh? No, not at all.
You're lying, aren't you? Rena suddenly stopped. Her expression was cold and intense.
What do you mean by that, Keiichi?
Her tone was still the same cheery and light-hearted one as before. You are, aren't you? Keeping something from me? After understanding what I meant, her expression grew even more intense. Seeing that face, I regretted saying something so rash. She came back at me in a way I didn't expect.
Well then, Keiichi, aren't you keeping something from us?
Huh? Her tone didn't change, but it was the first time I'd seen this expression from Rena. With her gaze pierced through me, I couldn't believe this was the same Rena.
Aren't you? Wiser secrets? Aren't you?
Are secrets. She didn't say that part, but she looked back as if she did. The incident of Tomitake and how I felt alienated from the group, even without having to think about it. There were things I knew that I felt guilty about. But I didn't tell everyone what happened with Tomitake to be considerate. I was keeping it as a secret just the same way they didn't tell me about Oyashiro. Then, aren't we even? No, I'm not. No lies, nor secrets.
Liar.
Her answer was instant and it shook me. Rena stared as if burrowing through me, watching me. Why would you say that I'm lying?
Didn't you say that you were called into the teacher's room yesterday during the club meeting, Keiichi? I know. You didn't go to the teacher's room.
I swallowed hard. It clearly wasn't a bluff. She knew what happened.
The teacher said you had a guest, didn't she? But you didn't talk at the entrance. You talked inside of the car near the school gate with some man we don't know.
Rena knew everything. She knew I was called out by Ooishi and that I heard about the incident with Tomitake as well. Did she know all of it?
Exactly who was that man?
I don't know him.
Why did someone you don't know have any business with you?
I want to know that myself.
Then what did you talk about?
It has nothing to do with you guys. It was a lie. Lies! Rena's scream echoed through the trees, sending frightened birds into the air. I couldn't exhale the deep breath I had just taken. No. It was like I wasn't allowed to exhale. It was here. I first realized the person in front of me, she wasn't Ryugu Rena. And who was it standing before me now? Who had assumed Ryugu Rena's appearance? I had held my breath for so long I could feel myself suffocating.
Right?
She made a facial expression that Rena normally would have made. It didn't matter that it was Rena's usual smile. It chilled me to the bone. She drew closer to me. I felt her breath against my face. It wasn't the least bit exciting. Whoever this was with Rena's face was going to chew my nose right off. I cowered as I imagined that. Then she smirked as if she was able to see right through me.
We also have secrets. Just like how Keiichi has secrets.
It was Rena's usual smile, but her eyes were still like that of a hawk's. Bringing her face close enough to mine to almost bump into my nose, she kindly persuaded me. I couldn't nod or shake my head. This person standing in front of me, this person who looked like Rena, frightened me to my core. I was terrified knowing that she could hear the sound of me swallowing nervously. After what felt like an eternity, after a long empty silence, she finally spoke.
Let's go! It's getting chilly.
It was Rena again. smiling at me once more. She started walking as if nothing at all had happened. When I was released from her gaze, my legs gave out from under me and I slumped into the ground. I wasn't able to lift a finger until Rena was out of sight. Who was that? I felt cold. My body was drenched in sweat. I was finally able to form a coherent thought and ask myself once again, who was that person who looked like Ryugu Rena? I didn't want to stop until we reached that point, but seriously, that car was so fucking rude. Fuck off, car. I fucking hate cars. It's like, oh, way to overcompensate showing your stupid roaring car engine that nobody gives a shit about. I hate that. That is so obnoxious. So let's save. And just to double check, we're going to save it here. Let's save it over here. Yeah, why not? Alright. I'm gonna stop